Grains, root vegetables, and legumes are the healthiest foods we as humans can eat and base our diet around. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And when I make these statements, we need to be clear. This is generally what most leading experts and researchers around the world agree upon. So when we take this position, this is an evidence-based position. This is not a fad diet. This is not about promoting or selling products. It is not any of that. It is going off what the leading experts in longevity, disease prevention, and even sports researchers, like people who literally research sports science and building the best athletes. In other words, the best athletes tend to follow diets that are extremely high in starches and starch-based. Because again, it tends to produce the best performance. It tends to produce the best body composition. And again, unless your sport benefits from you gaining a lot of fat, and it's oftentimes only going to be in certain weight classes, body composition even matters there. And we know body composition affects health. So let's be very, very clear on all of that. The health at every size thing is a myth. Probably videos I need to continue to make and discuss. So again, we need to be very, very aware of that fact. But the reason I say a lot of this is multifold in nature. Again, number one, starches and glucose are the primary preferred and healthy fuel source for humans. When you get people who chime in and say, well, I'm a type 2 diabetic, or I'm a type 1 diabetic, it's like, well, type 1 diabetic, that's a valid exception, right? But if their insulin is well managed, all right, we need to be clear. If their insulin is well managed, even they will be healthier on this type of diet. Okay, if their medications are dialed in. But that is also a medical condition to where a person's body, literally they are born not functioning correctly. All right, and they sometimes have to do stuff a little different because they can't get their medications dialed in to replicate something that their body doesn't make. So that is absolutely the worst example we could use, because even they would still benefit if their medication is dialed in correctly. All right, now that aside, the type 2 diabetics, had they just eaten this way to begin with, and I want to be extremely clear, the overwhelming amount of research shows that had they just eaten this way to begin with and built their whole diet around these foods and kept their fats low and their refined sugars low and this other stuff, they would never have become a type 2 diabetic. It would not happen. So there's the irony when people use that as the exception. Had you just done this to begin with, you wouldn't be in this situation. Okay? All right, now that being said, glucose driven, okay? Furthermore, the health benefits of dietary fiber have been shown to be overwhelming. Again, setting aside the fad diets and people who have damaged and destroyed their body with bad diets, okay? Because usually people who have various IBS problems and other stuff, what got them there to begin with? Well, there's obviously an autoimmune component, but had they just eaten proper, healthy, balanced diets to begin with, the majority of them would not be in that situation. So that is a big problem when we bring these things up. It's a big problem. People's bad lifestyles put them in a situation to where the healthiest foods start to become problematic. Well, don't become that person. And to those people, fix your health issues and then get on a proper healthy diet. That's how this works. And if you're the rare exception who it wasn't your lifestyle, something else, then you shouldn't be coming to the internet for advice. You need to consult a medical expert. You shouldn't be on the internet looking at stuff like this to determine what you need to do, let alone these quacks pushing the fad diets in these same platforms like carnivore and other nonsense. So that aside, let's get back over to it. Fiber. Fiber is phenomenal for health. And people who say, well, I can only tolerate so much of it. Yeah, but your body builds that up. So if you gradually increase your fiber intake over months or a year, what ends up happening is that your body does adapt, and then you tolerate it extremely well. And once you're tolerating it extremely well, what are the benefits? Healthy gut flora, healthy blood sugar control, better insulin sensitivity, all these things. Keeping in mind the gut flora part affects your immune system. Literally, a high fiber diet, once you adapt to it, you'll get the colds and stuff less often. Impacts your immune system, okay? Because we know that that is where even our immune system kind of starts. It affects it in a very positive manner. Now, obviously, this is not a replacement for medical care. It falls under preventative medicine. So, again, this is what we mean by this is for overall health. We're not just talking body composition. Now, we could talk body composition. Most of these foods are very low fat, high in fiber. That's the key to getting lean. We could talk about protein and protein overfeeding and how that affects body composition, and that has a place. But really, where's your foundation just for getting lean? Blood sugar control, insulin sensitivity, fiber, appetite, satiety, okay? The high fiber diets, high glucose, low fat diets are going to tend to do that. All right, they're going to do all that, but there are the other health things to consider. So when we start looking at stuff like lipid profiles, inflammation, cardiovascular disease, insulin sensitivity, all the stuff that affects heart attack, affects strokes, affects diabetes, affects cancer. This sort of diet is preventative. Like this is where you cut your risk of these things down dramatically, irrespective of what your genetic predispositions are. People say, well, the genetics, it's like, yeah. So if you've got a genetic predisposition towards these things, these lifestyle things are even more important. They're 10 times more important. And anyone who doesn't understand that, it's like, yeah, you need to be cutting your chances down. If you're predisposed to it, you're not doomed to have these things. Your lifestyle actually becomes even more important. Because the people who aren't predisposed actually have a little more wiggle room on this than you do. But yeah, these are the foods you should be eating, you know, so what are we talking about? I mean, make it simple. People are like, what do you mean by those foods? All right, grains, root vegetables, legumes, so rice, potatoes, beans, there you go. Let's put it in plain English for you. That's the stuff you should be eating, the foundation of your diet. And then the rest should be filled in with lean proteins, you know, some fruits and other vegetables. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys and gals next time.